So let's take this up and see what the solution is. Here we go. So it says there are 8 friends, right? 8 friends are sitting around 2 concentric circles, right? There are 2 concentric circles. Piyush, Gagan, Chandu and Darren are in the inner circle, while Ayush, Veer, Rehan and Gautam are in outer circle. The distance between any 2 persons in a circle is the same, right? Distance between any 2 persons in a circle is the same, and some are facing inwards while some are facing outwards, right? So you have to note a point here that there are 2 circles, 2 concentric circles. So basically inner circle and then there is an outer circle. Usually in similar such problems that we have solved, people in the inner circle are facing outwards and those in the outer circle are facing inwards. But here that has not been specified explicitly. He says some are facing inwards and others are facing outwards. So who exactly is facing inwards or who is facing outwards is not known to us. And then he's also given that they have different salaries among 65k, 70k, 75k, 45k and so on. Please note that the salaries are not in ascending order, right? So I think the lowest is 45, then we have 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. So basically everything from 45 to 80, 45k to 80k at intervals of 5k. Now clues have been given to us. Piyush is facing in east direction but is not facing outwards, and Gautam, whose salary is 10k less than Piyush, is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees clockwise to Piyush. So you need to note a few important points here, that Piyush, Gagan, Chandu and Darren are in the inner circle. Piyush, Gagan, Chandu and Darren, these 4 guys are in the inner circle. So the statement starts with Piyush's point here. Piyush is facing in the east direction, so Piyush is in the inner circle, right? Remember, these are inner circle guys. And the guys in the outer circle are Ayush, Veer, Rehan and Gautam, right? These are the outer circle guys. Right, here we have the inner circle guys. Okay, so Piyush is facing in each direction but is not facing outwards, and Gautam, whose salary is 10k less than Piyush, is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees clockwise to Piyush. Okay, now this 135 degrees clockwise direction should also ring a bell in your mind. See, understand, if you say all are, like there are 4 persons in each circle, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, the other 4 persons need not be at the same points, right? Usually we say they are in this position, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 in the inner circle, and similar positions 1, 2, 3, 4 in the outer circle. So what do you see? Each person in the inner circle is facing a person in the outer circle, or each person in the outer circle is facing a person in the inner circle. But if you have this kind of an arrangement, the 135 degree clockwise thing will not come into picture, right? What does he say here? He says Piyush and Gautam are at an angle of 135 degrees. We know that Piyush is in inner circle and Gautam is in outer circle. Now you take any position in the inner circle. Let's assume Piyush is sitting here. What are the other positions in the outer circle? This will be 90 degrees, this will be 180 degrees, this will be 270 degrees, and this will be 0 degrees or 360 degrees. You understand? The angle in this position with respect to this position is what? 90 degrees. This position to this position is 180 degrees. This position to this position here will be 270 degrees. And then this one will be 360 degrees or 0 degrees. So the arrangement that we have used here is not the correct one. You're getting it? So they should be arranged differently to get that 135 degree angle. How will that be possible? For example, if 1, 2, 3, 4 are the positions, then the position in the outer circle will be exactly in the middle of these 2 positions, like here, in the middle of these 2, in the middle of these 2, and in the middle of these 2. So very clearly, a person in the inner circle is not facing a person in the outer circle, unlike what usually happens. Right? Here you can see every person in the inner circle is not facing anybody in the outer circle, right? Nobody is facing anyone here, and only in such kind of an arrangement you can get a 135 degree clockwise or a 45 degree clockwise or anti-clockwise angle possible. Okay, so let's start discussing this now. Let me try to get some space. Yeah. Just a second. I'll have to clear this. Just a second, guys. Yeah. So here we go. Now I have enough space to try this out. Let's take it out. So it says 8 friends are sitting. I mean, we have already discussed there are 2 concentric circles. So let's say this is the inner circle and here we have the outer circle. Okay. So the positions in the inner circle, let's assume, are 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Remember, every 2 persons in the inner circle are equidistant. Similarly, every 2 persons in the outer circle are equidistant, meaning adjacent persons are equidistant. So there's a 90-degree angle between all the, pairs possible. Likewise, a 90-degree angle in the outer circle also should be possible. So this is the kind of setup you will have. Now, you may also interchange these. Like, for example, you can have the outer circle positions here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And whatever we have in the outer circle can be taken in the inner circle in that case. Doesn't matter. That will not change the answer anyways. Okay. Now start with the first point. It says Piyush is facing in east direction. First of all, Piyush is sitting in the inner circle, right? Piyush is in the inner circle. We have already discussed this. These 4 guys are in inner circle and Ayush, Veer, Rihan and Gautam are in outer circle. So Piyush is facing in east direction but is not facing outwards. Now look at this. East direction is this. Right, the regular cardinal directions that we have, right? So Piyush is facing east direction. And if Piyush is in inner circle, there are only 2 positions possible. Either Piyush comes here or Piyush comes here. And if Piyush is coming in this position on the left hand side, then he will be facing center. If Piyush is coming on the right hand side here in this point, in this position, then he will be facing outwards because he has to face in the east direction. You see, east direction is this. So based on the position of Piyush, whether he takes the left side or the right side, he will either be facing inwards or outwards. If he's seated in the left side, then he's facing inwards. If he's seated in the right side and facing east direction, then that will be an outward facing position. Now, if you read the statement here, it says Piyush is facing in the east direction, but is not facing outwards. Piyush is not facing outwards. If he's not facing outwards means what? Piyush cannot come here, because if you put Piyush in this position and east direction, that will become outwards. So Piyush has to come here and he's facing inwards. So he's also facing east direction and he's facing inwards. And Gautam, whose salary is 10k less than that of Piyush, is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees clockwise to Piyush. So first of all, angle which is 135 degrees clockwise to Piyush. See, from clockwise direction, you know what is clockwise direction, right? So from this position, Piyush position, if you go 90 degrees, you'll come here. 135 degrees will be 90 degrees plus 45. So 90 degrees is up to here. Then plus 45 degrees will be this position. So basically, Gautam sits in this position. Now, whether he's facing inwards or outwards is not known to us. All we know is Gautam, whose salary is 10k less than Piyush. Gautam's salary is 10,000 less than Piyush's salary. He's sitting at an angle of 135 degrees clockwise to Piyush. So from Piyush, if you go 135 degrees clockwise, so this is 90 degrees plus another 45 degrees. But since we don't have a position here, you jump outside. This is Gautam's position. And anyway, Gautam we know is in the outer circle. So Gautam and Piyush are already placed. Right? Now move to the next point. Salaries have not been fixed, by the way. For Piyush and Gautam, the salaries have not been fixed. The next point says Ayush is sitting opposite to Gautam. Ayush is sitting opposite to Gautam. Now Ayush is inner circle or outer circle? Outer circle. Right? Ayush is in the outer circle. Opposite to Gautam. Anyway, opposite to Gautam will be outer circle only, because in the inner circle we don't have an opposite position to Gautam. Right? So Ayush is opposite to Gautam. Ayush is here. Right? And both are facing the same direction, inward or outward. And both of them are facing the same direction, inwards or outwards. So either both are facing inwards, Ayush faces inwards, Gautam also faces inwards, or both are facing outwards. But exactly what, we do not know. So we'll come to that later. The salary of Gagan is second lowest. The salary of Gagan is second lowest. Now what is the second lowest salary here? We know that the lowest is 45k, right? This is lowest. And highest is 80k. Right? So if lowest is 45k, highest is 80k, second lowest will be 50k. So basically Gagan's salary is 50k. So salary of Gagan is second lowest, and he's sitting to the northeast direction of Darren. He's sitting in the northeast direction of Darren. He is who here? Gagan. Remember, we are referring to Gagan when we say here. So Gagan's salary is 45k and Gagan is sitting to the northeast direction of Darren. Now if you try and observe, both Gagan and Darren are in the inner circle. Right? Gagan and Darren both are in the inner circle. Now, we also know that Gagan is in the northeast direction of Darren. So when is that possible? That is possible only when you put Darren here in this position and Gagan in this position. Now if you see this is Darren. Whether he's facing inwards or outwards doesn't matter. This is Gagan. Whether he's facing inwards or outwards doesn't matter. But if you observe, Gagan's position is in the northeast direction to Darren's position. Yes or no? What is northeast? Anything between north and east. This is northeast, right? So if you observe from Darren's position, when you go northeast, you will reach Gagan. So that's the point justified here, right? Gagan's salary is 45k and he's sitting to the northeast direction of Darren. So northeast direction of Darren. By the way, Gagan is 45k, that is fixed. Number is fixed. Rihan and Darren both are facing inwards. Rihan and Darren both are facing inwards. So Rihan and Darren are facing inwards. So Darren is definitely facing inwards. We do not know where Rihan is. Where is Rihan, by the way? Rihan is in the outer circle. Now, if you observe, inner circle has got Piyush, Gagan, Chandu and Darren, of which Piyush, Gagan and Darren are fixed. So obviously, the fourth person, Chandu, would be seated here. Right? Now look at this. Rihan and Darren both are facing inwards. And there is a 45-degree angle between their positions. Between their positions. Who is there here? Who are we referring to? Rihan and Darren. So if Darren is here, and between Darren and Rihan, there has to be a 45-degree angle. Either Rihan should come in this position or in this position. Yes or no? From Darren, if you take 45 degrees, you either come here, which is already occupied by Ayush, or you take 45 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. Then you come here. This is blocked by whom? This should be Rihan. Yes or no? So now if you see between Darren's position and between Rihan's position, there is a 45-degree angle. Right? And we also know that both of them are facing inwards. Rihan is also facing inwards, by the way. So Darren is facing inwards, Rihan is facing inwards. So on the outer circle, we have Ayush, Rihan, Gautam. Ayush, Rihan, Gautam are fixed. The fourth person, Veer, has to come here. So if you see, already all the 8 persons have been placed. What is left out is finding out their salaries and directions. We only know the salary of Gagan so far and directions of Piyush, Darren and Rihan. So let's move on. The person whose salary is 75k is in the outer circle. 75k is in the outer circle. That doesn't really help immediately. We'll come to that later. Ayush's salary is 10k more than Veer. Ayush's salary is 10k more than Veer. This also is not useful immediately. Whatever is Veer's salary, Ayush's salary will be 10k more than that. Chandu's salary is 65k. Chandu's salary is 65k? Yes. So fix Chandu. Chandu's salary is 65k. And he's facing the direction opposite to that of Gagan's direction. Okay, so Gagan's direction is not known. Only when we know Gagan's direction, we can fix Chandu's direction, right? He's facing the direction opposite that of Gagan's direction. The person whose salary is lowest is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees anti-clockwise to Gagan. The person whose salary is lowest. See, lowest salary we all know is 45k. So that person who's earning 45k is at an angle of 135 degrees anti-clockwise to Gagan. So from Gagan's position, you go anti-clockwise. How much? 135 degrees. So go now. Gagan's position anti-clockwise is this way, right? So if you go 90 degrees anti-clockwise, you land at Chandu. Further 45 degrees is Veer. So from Gagan, 135 degrees anti-clockwise would be Veer. You understand? 90 and 45. 90 degrees and then 45 degrees. 135 degrees. So Veer is the person we are referring to. So the person whose salary is lowest, which is 45k, is at an angle of 135 degrees anti-clockwise to Gagan. So Veer is earning 45k. No. Yeah, Veer is earning 45k. I think we have marked Gagan's salary as wrong. How did we get Gagan's salary? Just a second, hold on. Veer's salary is 45, that is for sure. Gagan's salary has to be checked. The salary of Gagan is second lowest. Oh, I'm sorry. Salary of Gagan was second lowest. Second lowest is 50k. Sorry, just change this. Gagan's salary would be 50k. Yeah. Okay. So the person's salary second, is lowest is sitting at angle of 135 degrees to Gagan, and is facing the same direction as Gautam. Who is facing the same direction as Gautam? The person who's earning lowest salary, Veer. So Veer's and Gautam's direction is same basically, inwards or outwards. Gautam's salary is the average of Piyush and Darren. Gautam's salary is average of Piyush and Darren. Let me write it here. Gautam is average of Piyush and Darren. So Piyush plus Darren by 2. We'll use this. Gagan is facing in west direction. So some important clue here. Gagan is facing in west direction. So Gagan is facing west direction meaning Gagan is facing inwards. Yes or no? If you mark west direction, then Gagan would be facing inwards. Sorry. Gagan is facing in this direction. The person whose salary is 70k is facing outwards. The person whose salary is 70k is facing outwards. Okay, so now I think we have got only a few directions and few salaries. The others have to be fixed. By the way, we have Gagan's direction, and based on Gagan's direction, let's see if something else can be fixed. See, Chandu's salary is 65k. We have already fixed that, and he is facing the direction opposite to that of Gagan's direction. Chandu is facing opposite of Gagan. So if Gagan is facing inwards, Chandu will be facing outwards. Yes or no? If Gagan is facing inward, Chandu would be facing outwards. So I think all the directions of inward facing persons are done. Now again, something else be done based on this. Ayush's salary, look at this point. Ayush's salary is rupees 10k more than Veer. Ayush's salary is 10k more than Veer. Veer's salary is 45. So Ayush's salary should be 55. This is also done. Yeah. Next, what do we know? The person whose salary is 75k is in the outer circle. 75k is in the outer circle. So either Rihan is 75k or Gautam is 75k. The person whose salary is lowest is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees anti-clockwise to Gagan and is facing the same direction as that of Gautam. Lowest salary person we know is Veer. Veer and Gautam are same direction. So we'll have to come to that later. Yeah, so now I think we need to work on this. Gautam's salary is average of Piyush and Darren. See, among the given numbers here, we have already fixed 45, 50, 55, 65. Yes or no? 45 is gone, 50 is gone, 55 is gone, and 65 is gone. The left out salaries are 70, 75, 60 and 80. Right? And the point we have is Gautam. So Gautam, Piyush and Darren, these three guys have to take what numbers? 70, 75, 60, 80. Three of these four numbers. And since Gautam's salary is average of Piyush and Darren, it's obvious that, see, you can very easily understand that between 70, 75, 60 and 80. Let me write it here. 70, 75, 60 and 80. If you have this kind of an equation, that Gautam's salary is average of Piyush and Darren, it's obvious that Gautam's salary will be 670 and Piyush and Darren will take 60 and 80 in some order. So 70 is the average of 60 and 80. There's no other way out. Or there's one more way out actually. 75 can be taken as the average of 60 and 70. So that cannot be computed directly. We have to find one more point. What else can be used? Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush. Okay, look at this. This point we have here. Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush. Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush. So if Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush, see there are two averages possible here. Either we can take 60, 70, 80 as a triplet. 60, 70, 80, where 70 is the average of 60 and 80. Or we can take 70, 75 and 80 as a triplet, where 75 is the average of 80. Yes or no? 60, 70, 80, 70 is the average. 70, 75, 80, 75 is the average. But if we take 70, 75, 80, the problem is Gautam's salary is 75. Piyush's salary will either be 70 or 80. But between 70 and 75 or 80 and 75, the difference is only 5,000. Here very clearly it is given that Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush. So this is ruled out. The only possibility is 60, 70, 80. So Gautam's salary is 70. Since Gautam's salary is less than that of Piyush, Gautam's salary is 10k less than Piyush. Piyush's salary should be 80 and Darren's salary should be 60. Fixed. So Darren is 60, Piyush is 80 and Gautam is 70. So what is left out? 75 is left out. 75 goes for Rihan. So salaries are all fixed now. All the 8 salaries are fixed. And directions are not done yet. We have the directions of inward persons. Outward persons directions have to be checked. Ayush, Veer and Gautam. How do we find out? The person whose salary 75k is in the outer circle. Yeah, that is obvious. 75k is outer circle. We have got that. Gautam's salary is the average salaries of Piyush and Darren. This also we have used. The person whose salary is 70k is facing outwards. Person whose salary is 70k is facing outwards. Whose salary is 70k? Gautam. Gautam is facing outwards. From one of the earlier statements, we know that Gautam and Ayush are facing same direction. You see, Ayush is sitting opposite to Gautam and both are facing same direction. So if Ayush and Gautam are facing same direction, Gautam is facing outwards, Ayush also should be facing outwards. Remember, same direction does not mean that both are facing northeast to northeast. Like Gautam is northeast, so Ayush also is northeast. He is very clearly given here. Same direction is inward or outward. So Gautam is outward, Ayush is also outwards. And you also know that Veer and Gautam are facing same direction. Where is it given? Somewhere it was given. Veer is facing same direction as that of Gautam. See, the person whose salary is lowest, it is Veer only, right? This statement. The person whose salary is lowest is sitting at an angle of 135 degrees anti-clockwise to Gagan and facing the same direction as that of Gautam. So Veer and Gautam are facing same direction. Gautam is facing outwards, Veer also is facing outwards. Alright. So I think the arrangement is done. 4 inverse person, 4 persons in inner circle, 4 persons in the outer circle, salaries are all known and directions are also known to us. Now we can answer the questions easily. I think it was a simple one. Overall, if you ask me, a simple question. Please do not go by the length of the explanation, the time that we have spent in solving this here. Because I was not solving it. I was explaining it to you. And obviously it would take more time to do that, right? To do so. When you do it yourself, you should be able to do it faster. The only unique part about this problem was that the 2 concentric circles which we have here do not have positions exactly at the same points, do not have persons exactly at the same points in both the circles, which is usually what we have seen in other problems, right? Whenever we have concentric circles, there are 4 persons in the inner circle, 4 persons in the outer circle, and every person in the inner circle is facing a person in the outer circle. But in this case, that's not possible because angles are given 135 degrees. So if it is 135 degrees, obviously one circle is having 4 positions, the other circle is having other 4 positions at an angle of 45 degrees. Only then you can get this kind of an arrangement. So I think that's one important and a different point with regards to this question. Otherwise, it's all the usual stuff, right? You should know the basics. The direction sense has to be there, and you got to first fix whatever is directly given to you, and then try to find out the hidden clues from whatever data is given there to fill the gaps. So let's quickly look at the questions and see what are the answers we get. Whose salary is 60k? Now these are all basic questions. Whose salary is 60k? I think Darren's salary is 60k very clearly, right? Darren's salary is 60k. So this is Darren. What is the average of salaries of persons sitting at 45 degrees to Gagan on both sides? This is 45 degrees, right? Not 450. So what is the average of salaries of persons sitting at 45 degrees to Gagan on both sides? So Gagan is here. 45 degrees of Gagan are Gautam and Rihan. Yes or no? If you see Gagan, what are the 45 degrees sides to Gagan? 145 degrees is Gautam, the other 45 degrees is Rihan. Average of their salaries. So 70 and 75. What is the average of 70 and 75? 72.5. 72.5, option 4. Then he says find the odd one. Find the odd one. Ayush, Chandu, Veer, Gagan, Gautam. Ayush. So among these we have to find the odd one. Let me highlight these guys, right? Ayush, Chandu, Veer, Gagan and Gautam. Who's the odd one here? 2 are in the inner circle, 3 are in the outer circle. So that doesn't help to find the odd one. Salaries of course are different. Ayush is facing outwards, Veer is facing outwards, Gautam is facing outwards, Chandu is facing outwards, only Gagan is facing inwards. So I think Gagan will be the odd one based on directions, right? Ayush, Veer, Chandu and Gautam all are facing outwards, only Gagan is facing inwards. So Gagan should be the answer. Gagan should be the answer to this one. How many persons are facing inwards? How many persons are facing inwards? That's again a simple count. How many are facing inwards? Darren is facing inwards, Piyush and Gagan are facing inwards. So 3 in the inner circle and Rihan in the outer circle. Only 1 in the outer circle. So 3 plus 1, 4 are facing inwards. 4 are facing outwards. So 4 should be the answer. Simple. What is the angle between the positions of Ayush and the one whose salary is 60,000? Angle between Ayush and 60,000. So where is Ayush? Ayush is here. Where is 60,000 guy? 60,000 guy is here. You see there are consecutive persons. I mean one is in the outer circle, the other is in the inner circle. But you know that in this case what is that angle? 45 degrees. See 60,000 person is Darren. Ayush is here. What is this angle? 45 degrees, right? Half of 90. 45 degrees. So angle should be 45 degrees. Option 1. So as always, answering these 5 questions is a cakewalk. That wouldn't take much time, right? Very, very easy to do. But to be able to do that easily, you should get the solution in the first place. That would take some time, some natural time, which is about, I think, if you ask me overall, it's a 4-minute problem, not more than that. Within 4 minutes, you should be able to bag these 5 marks and then move on, right? So I think that's the first must solve problem for the SBAPO mains exam, and not just SBAPO mains exam. this can also be useful for your other exams that are coming up. We will meet again tomorrow at the same time, 4:30, to discuss the problem number 2 of the 15 must solve questions before you go for your SBA PO Mains exam. So please join us tomorrow at the same time, 4:30, to solve yet another interesting question. It can be a puzzle or a data interpretation based question. Okay, so I'll see you all tomorrow, and in the meanwhile you can subscribe to our channel and maybe press the bell icon so that you get notifications of such live sessions that we do for all of you. All the very best for your SBA PO Mains exam. Remember, just 20 days left, so practice as much as you can and leave no stone unturned. Take care. Bye.